Okay, so throughout the semester, in each one of your modules, you're going to be assigned a discussion post. And these are one of the main things that we do in this class. So most of the information for the class is discussed in my lectures, and you need to watch those, take notes. That's where all the information on the quizzes is going to come from. That's where the information on your final is going to come from. The other big component of the class are these peer discussions. So for each of these, you'll come to the discussion page, and I'll have the due date here. I think the first one, let's see. It's due January 31st, so due at the end of the month. So for each of these, you'll come here, you'll see these instructions, which I'm going to go over with you in a minute. And then down here, you'll find your name. I have not put your names on here yet, but you'll find your name, and assigned to you will be a artifact, a piece of artwork, or a piece of historical architecture, okay? So for example, let's say there's someone in our class named Jane. I don't know that there is a Jane in our class, but let's say Jane comes down, finds her name, Jane, bull-headed Lear from tomb 789, King's Grave, Royal Cemetery, and has all this information. Okay. What you need to do is research your object. In this case, if you're Jane, it's the bull-headed Lear. You can go online and research it. I would suggest also going to the library. There's this great resource they have called Research 1-on-1 if you go to the library website on OTC's website, where if you give them your research topic, they will help you find the resources for it. What I want you to do is read a bunch of information online. You know, Wikipedia is a good place to start. Read information about your object. This one, we know it's listed here that it's at the University of Pennsylvania. That means it's part of their collection and their facility. Go to that website, read about this artifact, read whatever you can about it. Maybe look up the ancient culture it's from, okay? And just read lots of information, take it in, and then you're gonna come back here after reading about it, and you're gonna first of all, post a picture of your item. So in this case, it'd be a picture of this lyre, which is kind of like a harp that has a carved bull head. And then you're going to tell us some things about it. So after you get you've read everything, you're going to tell us about the work itself. Where was it created? When was it discovered? Why was it created? What was its purpose? Do we know its purpose? What is it made out of? When was it created, and why do you think it's significant? As an art historian, when you look at this thing, what do you think is significant to the culture that created it? What do you think is important about it? For this assignment, you'll make your original post, which is basically you just teaching us, telling us about what you learned. So you take in all the information. I don't want you to copy and paste. You just take it in and then kind of regurgitate it to us. You don't have to cite anything. I just want you to tell us about your object kind of conversationally. And after that, you're going to make 2 additional posts replying to the posts of your peers. And for those, to receive all your potential points, your replies need to be substantive. What do I mean by substantive? I don't want you to just say, good point, or I like that, or it's pretty, or rad as hell, my dude. I want you to say something more substantive. So you can make an observation about the piece. You can make an observation about something they told you about it, that it's something you didn't know about. You can ask them a question. And then likewise, if someone asks you a question about your original post, you need to go back and answer it, okay? Here's some tips about what you can write. Information about the culture in which the work was created is interesting and provides helpful context. So if you're having trouble with the object itself, look up the culture that created it and learn some things about that. If your work depicts a historical or mythological figure, tell us about that person and who they are. If your image is made using an unusual technique or is made out of an interesting material, you can tell us about that technique. You can tell us about that material. Lastly, what do you personally think about it? Is it successful? Does it serve its purpose? Why or why not is it successful? Does it appeal to you? Do you find it intriguing? Why or why not? Okay? So my point is, I don't want you to write there wasn't very much information, because that's just not the case. There's information about all the things that I assign you here. You just have to do some research. Some of you later on particularly will have some very famous pieces. In some ways that makes it a little harder. You have to sift through more information to digest and present your own take. Okay, so you'll be assigned one of these things listed below, and I'll just have your first name. So you just find your first name. And you will have these throughout the semester. I believe there are 6 of them. There's one for each module, and they're worth 15 points each. That doesn't seem like a lot of points. It adds up, all right? It's a pretty big chunk of your grade for the semester. Okay, so that's how discussions work. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. If you added the class kind of late and you don't see your name with an assignment, email me and let me know, and I'll come in and assign you something. All right, happy researching.